So a big apologies to everyone for me not uploading the video correctly before. I had recorded it, but apparently something went wrong with the recording and I missed out on the entirety of game one. So let's get into the replay here, everyone. Alright, so we do win the die roll, which seems pretty fantastic. We see a hand with land. We got the glimpse of the unthinkable, and then we've got the Storm Herald. So we've got a turn 3 Storm Herald. We've also got the opportunity to put 10 cards into our own graveyard. Reasonable in a vacuum, also being on the play is helpful. So let's just continue along here. So opponent cracks Prismatic Visper into Arbor Elf. Now this signals to me that we are versing Heliod Company. So we do have a little bit of time to think here. I think we pass here, but we make a mistake. I assumed that Glimpse was instant speed, when actually it's sorcery speed. So you see me, our opponent's like very likely to just play Heliod in this spot because 3 mana, it's a pretty clean spot to play it. They actually go for Spike Feeder though. So I think end of turn here, we just cycle an Izzet Charm, and we put these 2 auras into the graveyard. So it worked out not too bad drawing in this Izzet Charm and doing what we did here. We do look to conserve a little bit of life with the mountain. I don't think it hugely matters in that spot. So we hit another Prodigious Growth. Obviously 7 plus double strike gives us 20 damage with the Storm Herald. Where 7 plus 3 is like what, 3 damage less at 17. So we do discard the highest damage combination. Draw Jace Rune's Prodigy. Obviously my opponent has Spike Feeder here. They can just gain 4 life, which will put them at 22, and then they'll be at 2 after the attack goes through. So yeah, let's just go ahead and swing on through. Alright, so we get back our 2 auras and hit our opponent for 20. I do actually think that they try to play this on, but at 2 life and with, well, I mean, realistically nothing on the board other than an Arbor Elf. They pretty much just are pretty close to dead, right? So here's the Arbor Elf. Obviously my opponent can Collected Company here. Alright, so that'll be the Coco. And I think they actually low roll pretty hard here with what they find. Yeah, so they find Conclave Mentor Heliod. And, I mean, they're not like, you know, forced to block in that spot. But obviously they're in a spot where they can combo here. I think we just go for the Glimpse at this point. Or maybe we Jace. Yeah, I guess we can Jace and then active the Jace after casting Glimpse and have a chance to win here. But yeah, we definitely have a chance of just dying in this spot. Opponent plays Conclave Mentor and that's it. It's pretty fortunate for us that they didn't have a lot going on. So we get a second Watery Grave. Possibly that should have been Blood Crypt there. Realistically, this is where I go for the Glimpse of the Unthinkable. But it's sort of not going to work out in our favor, right? We do find the Unearth, actually. So now we go for the Glimpse. What do we hit? Prodigious Growth. And we've got like an Izzet Charm, but that's not very exciting. We can, however, active the Jace. Get something back from the graveyard now. So we can go for another Glimpse, or we could just Izzet Charm. If we like Izzet Charm attack, then we can Unearth the next turn. So let's see what we do. I think the line... Oh, we've got Unearth. Jeez. Izzet Charm, hit our own creature. And then Unearth the Storm Herald. Oh. Yeah. So that's what we do. We bring back 2 Conscriptions, some Double Strike, and Prodigious Growth. So that's enough for the opponent. We do get the victory there. Alright. Now let's have a real quick look at what we sideboarded out as well. I think because we're versing Heliod here, I did actually go ahead and transition sideboard. Obviously, if we mill our opponent and exile the combo piece with Surgical Extraction, that's going to be pretty strong. So it looks like I half transition sideboarded. I got rid of the Jace and the Izzet Charms because they're a little bit slow. Arguably, Izzet Charm might be better than Collective Brutality, but I'm not really sure. I don't think Crypt Incursion is super exciting, but obviously we're bringing in Rune Crabs, Archive Traps, and Surgical Extractions here. So we have this Hedron Crab hand with double Glimpse and Unearth. I mean, this is looking pretty good from an us perspective if we're just trying to do our own thing. And we find the Archive Trap. That's pretty impressive. So just turn 1, Water a Grave into Crab. And my opponent without a turn 1 play, I'm not really sure like what hand they're keeping with like a turn 2 Conclave. Like surely they want a turn 2 Heliod against an aggressive combo deck like mine. So now we have a choice. We did draw the Surgical Extraction, so we can actually go after our opponent's graveyard, or we could just mill ourselves. I think I go the safe line and I glimpse my opponent, strip the Heliods, and then next turn I glimpse myself, unearth something, and etc, etc. So let's go ahead and have a look. Alright, so we do mill our opponent off of the Hedron Crab triggers actually, and we hit a Heliod just then on the second trigger. So now we can Surgical out their Heliods. They had 1 Heliod in hand. They've also got Conclave Mentor, Temple Garden, Horizon Canopy, and Ballista. So pretty rubbish looking hand. In their library, let's just make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so we've got like 3 Skyclave Apparitions to be concerned about. They've got Captain Ranger of Eos here as well. A Force of Vigor, and a Horistian Fiend. Okay, that's interesting tech. Burrington Forge Tender. That's actually a very good tech against us, and it does beat us in one of the later games, I believe. But yeah, obviously we just take away all their Heliods, take a screenshot of their stuff. And they haven't got too much. So we glimpse ourselves. What do we find in the graveyard there? We hit literally just a Storm Herald, so that's a pretty weak hit. But we do have another glimpse that we can do next turn. And obviously we have another 2 Hedron Crab triggers as well. So we've already got the Storm Herald in the graveyard, right? Alright, there's Conscription. We've got Prodigious Growth. It's a pretty good hit, really. We can still glimpse, though, and get more. So we'll go ahead and do that. Play the Storm Herald, and our opponent concedes. At that point, we've got 2 Conscriptions, 2 Prodigious Growths in the graveyard, both of which give Trample. Eldrazi Conscription with Annihilator 2, so there'd be an Annihilator 4 on that attack. And yeah, really good win against Heliod. Most of the decks I play are pretty weak against Heliod, but obviously being able to aggressively strip a combo card out of their deck like that is very, very helpful, and my opponent had a pretty bad hand game 1. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, let me know what you think.